Welcome in to Two Country Home. So we've made our way to the end of the second week of November. So we thought we'd bring you back through. We're doing it in the morning this time, so we have a little better light. So here you can see our red Russian kale is put on a lot of growth. Here you can see our Chinese cabbage, or otherwise known as Napa cabbage. You can see how now it's really developing its conical shape. It kind of grows up like similar to a romaine type of lettuce, but you can see it's very much, they're all starting to take the conical shape, and these are starting to catch up as well. A little slower here, but they're doing well. Our curly kale has put on a lot of growth since last week. They're doing quite nice, and obviously our garlic now, I think last week it was couldn't see a whole lot, a couple inches. Now, you know, the garlic's probably 8-10 inches up. And obviously these are putting a little bit of a shade, or, you know, they're kind of encroaching on the carrots. But, you know, we need to remember these will be coming out in probably another 2 weeks, at least those two, and these soon thereafter. So once these are cut out, I don't pull them, but cut them out, then the carrots will have free reign of this bed. Obviously these will still be here, but as you pull the leaves off, the kale will get a little higher, and hopefully it doesn't shade out the carrots too much here in the center. So I'm really pleased with that. Here, as you can see from I think from last week, well, our parsnips have put on a lot of growth. They're, you know, most all have their second set of leaves, and, you know, some are probably 1-2 inches tall. So really, they're really doing well. At this point, all you do is, you know, just give them some water. Try to keep any grasses or weeds that come up in your bed. Keep them out of there so they don't, you know, have to deal with that competition. And when they get up here another couple weeks, they'll choke out most anything that's going to give them any issues. Need to hill up a little more of our potatoes, but this one here, it's above the container now, so we need to hill them up a little more, as well as maybe these. Some of these aren't doing very well, but, you know, there's just a few extra potatoes we had from the spring that sprouted, so we'll see how they do. Our beans are still doing well. We need to, after we do a walk around, we're going to go ahead and harvest some. They're really needing to be harvested. We harvested, I guess, about 4 days ago. Got a pretty nice bowl of them, so looks like we're going to have another one today. So we'll come back on this once I bring you through and show you how everything else has progressed since last week. Of course, our potatoes are still in there. Probably they're doing better than the potatoes in the bucket, so maybe we'll get something from there. Here, our radishes are now finally starting to take off a little bit, and as you can see from last week, our garlic has now put on a little bit more growth. Not all of it has come up yet. This is pretty small here. Should be 2 more over there. I don't see them yet. Still hopeful they will make it up. There is one coming through right here, so they're a little slow to go, but I'm hoping that they will go ahead and come up and break surface. Our salad mix, well, you know, was a mix of many different types of salad, as you saw us plant, and I'm kind of disappointed that's you know, starting to get some. This looks like a red sale type of leaf lettuce, but not real impressed with those particular seeds. So we'll see how this goes in a couple weeks, and you know, may have to, if it doesn't come up any better, may have to replant something else. Sometimes that's necessary. The carrots here, of course, they're in a little bit of shade from the papayas, but they're putting on another set of leaves, so they're still doing okay. Eventually, these will probably die back if it gets cooler, and then these have a pretty good amount of light, so I'm not real concerned. You know, carrots are slow growing through the winter months. It'll take a while before these are ready to harvest anyway. And yeah, well, still hanging in there with the papayas. Coming around here, these potatoes here need to be hilled up as well. They're above the top of the bucket there, so we'll get them hilled up. And so you can see here I had to bring it in for a close-up, but now you can see our climbing beans. So basically they climb up and they put off a lateral growth each way, and yeah, they're now pretty well getting into production. So we're going to go ahead and pull a harvest here as well. There's should be a fair amount here to take off, and actually these taste a little sweeter than the other ones do, so that'll be nice as well. But yeah, you know, they're doing nice. It looks like they had a little bit of thought maybe they were gonna have a little bit of fungal issues, but it's been dry here, and it looks like they pulled out of that, and I can't complain. They're like I say, they're getting beans everywhere, and I'm pretty happy about it. So yeah, we'll be pulling a harvest. Oops, there goes a piece there. We'll be pulling a harvest today off of them. So our carrots here, this grass, but our carrots here. So as you can see, even right now, they're getting a pretty good amount of sun right here. So obviously some are up 2 or 3 inches with whereas opposed to that bed, because of the papaya, they don't get as much sun. But these are doing quite nice. That's a different type of carrot as well, so that could be part of it. But here again, I need to come through and clean up some of the little weeds here, but same with the parsnip. You just at this point give them water and try to keep the weeds out, eliminate competition, and let them grow. They're going to need some time, so not much you can do there. And so here we now have 1, 2, and of course our third. So yeah, our papaya is definitely grown from last week, and I think the plant's still heavily flowering. Oh, it's been warm. We're still in the 80s in the days throughout the day, and if it's a warmer winter, you never know. But from what I understand, on the first year they don't do as well. But I think the other plant over here has one on it as well. So, hey, it's with seeds we were composting there, and they came up. So we'll see what happens. This carrot bed here is a little slow to go, but they're starting to put on their second set of leaves now. This is a scarlet nantz, so it's a little slower than the others, but they're coming on. Man, a lot of beans. Gotta get those off. We still haven't harvested the oregano, but I need to. This needs to be harvested so we can use that and get it sort of trimmed back. So here, the parsnips themselves are doing well, but here we had a little incident with a neighborhood cat. So I came out one morning and caught it in here, and I think it thought this was a big litter box. So I was able to get it out before it did its business, but it stirred up quite a few of the parsnips, so we lost some there. I'm hoping that these here will still be all right, but we have these over here. but that's sometimes what happens, you know. Some people have rabbits in the country and other things, and here in the city, sometimes have a cat or a dog that gets in. So it's one of those things. Our beets we planted a few weeks ago, so they're all up, and yeah, they're coming along a little bit, you know, a little late in planting them, but they're coming up. And our radish that we put along over there, the radish are doing pretty well as well. And I need to pull some grass here, but our little bed of carrots here are doing well. I got pretty good leaves, and they're starting to come up. The cat had been in here too earlier, seems to have recovered. Our radish is coming around. Our sage are doing well. These will be coming out for too long, a few weeks, and then the sage will be able to grow up on its own. Shouldn't be an issue with that. Got one weed here, but our green onions now have all pretty much come up that we planted in here. So we'll see how that goes. We planted a couple garlic over here. They're up as well. So we'll see how this does here. And our celery is still, you know, celery is starting to put on some growth. Actually, we got a couple radish. This one here is just about ready to. That one's about ready to go. Another week, I would guess. And so these, like I told you, you know, they'll be coming out, and then that celery will have its own place to come up without too many issues. I hope. That was my plan anyway. Here, curly kale's doing well, and we have a couple radish planted here. I believe this is a daikon. These here are, and they're coming up. Cabbage here. Cabbage is doing well. It's been warm, so it'd be better if it was a little cooler. Our garlic here is up. Several places we planted garlic in here, so it's up and growing in amongst the cabbage, which should be fine. And our curly kale is still here, is doing all right. Here, our one of our best performers is our turnips, and actually they're doing well. They're starting to bulb, starting to a little hard to see, but they're starting to bulb up right here, down under there. So won't be too long. Yeah, they'll be this one. Yeah, another few weeks. These will be coming out. Maybe some of the others that are depressed here because you know, the leaves couldn't really get more than 3 or 4 in here. Really, that's what germinated, and that's probably fine. Maybe when those come out, these will have a chance. The beets now are starting to improve. They were pretty small the week before. They're coming up. Rutabaga now, as I said, it puts on a lot of growth. It gets pretty big too. Rutabaga here, other parts of the world, is kind of known as the Swede, but they're doing well. This is a quick row of radish in here, and some more radish over here. And our 2 cabbage plants that we had planted in this bed are still doing about as well as these. Not much difference, but yeah, these will get big. So they're, you know, you can't fit a whole lot. Looks like a big bed when you plant it, but when things get like this, it fills out quite a bit. But you know, we get a little bit from each thing, and that'll be all right for us. So yeah, more, you know, we have more garlic planted here. Our lemons are still in the process of turning, so been a little warm, but they'll hopefully be ready in another, usually right around Thanksgiving, so another week and a half, 2 weeks. They'll be doing well. And of course, our potato here, we've come all the way up to the top here, hilled it all the way up. It's doing nice. Probably one of the nicer ones. I believe this is a russet from looking back at the video when we planted them. So I'm pretty happy with that. So here we have some transplants. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and get these in the ground because we practice succession planting. So with those Napa cabbages coming out in another few weeks and being ready, we want to go ahead and get these planted out to where they're started, so that we can a month or so after that have continuing to have some salad greens. So these will be going in the ground today, and this here is something that I'm trying, and it worked pretty well last fall, so I'm going to try it again. But this was a celery plant that we bought from the store. Used most of the celery, and then I put it in some water, and as you can see, as I put it in water, it's grown out some roots. This took about a month and a half. So last year I planted this in the garden, and it did really well. So we're gonna try this compared to the garlic, or to the celery, sorry, that we planted from starts, and see how it performs. So we'll be planting that out a little later today. Not a whole lot new over here. We still have our I got to constantly keep the leaves out here, but our carrots are now up in this bed. They were not up last week, but now they are. Got to keep the leaves out of there, falling from the trees. But those carrots are up, and our carrot bed over here, our small circular bed, is well, it's quite green too. So they're all doing well as also. So let's come over here, and maybe we can we'll pull a quick harvest of green beans and see how we end up doing this morning. They need to be picked, like I say. You know, you want to keep your beans picked so that you can remember last weekend we picked, got a pretty decent bowl, and then we picked again on Tuesday, got a larger bowl. So every 3 days or so, if you keep them picked, you're going to get quite a few. These plants are pretty small, but you know, they have pretty good amount on them. So just you know, you got to keep up with them, keep them picked, and they should keep flowering for you. Other than that, not a whole lot to do. Keep them watered at this point in time. With this warmer weather, these should continue. You know, they could even take a little cooler weather. It wouldn't hurt them any. It's been actually it's been a little warm. You know, it's been humid. So, but so far we haven't had any real issues on the greens or these with any real major fungal disease. So that's good because of the humidity. That can often happen, but so far so good. We definitely need to eat these, or well, we'll be canning some. We're getting a little behind on them. There's, like I say, we picked a good amount the other day and haven't eaten those, and this is going to be just, I would say, that many or more. So we'll need to process some. Just too many for us to keep up with fresh eating. But you got to keep them picked so they keep on flowering. So that's a must. Maybe there won't be as many. Those down there didn't seem to have any yet. They look like they're setting some more flowers. So we might not have too big a problem today. But you can always can these. You can blanch them and freeze them. We blanch them, put them on a cookie sheet, flash freeze them in the freezer, and then put them in a bag and seal them up so they don't, they don't stick together. If you just need a few, you can get some out of your bag. We do that with all our vegetables, corn as well. It just works well, so you don't have to use the whole bag and it's all a big block frozen in your freezer. You don't want that. Yeah, some of these have gone a little too long, but we'll come out now. Don't want to come out and just pick a few, because then I don't have a way to use them. So it's best I just leave them on there, and they'll be all right. They don't, this time of year they're not real woody or anything of that nature. So move my way around here. Let's see what we have here. And this will be the first picking of the climbing beans over there. So, well, those will also need to be kept up with as well. And say this is probably the fourth picking here on these bush beans. But if we keep the weather like it is, they'll keep on producing. They'll keep flowering. Shouldn't have any issue with them continuing to produce late into the season. I usually plant a wax bean. I did not this fall. I should have. I like them, but these are some seed, we had, so we're going to use them up. That looks about it from them. So not a huge amount, but say we did a heavy picking about 3 days ago. So we'll come over here, and this might help fill up our bowl a little bit. Now these will be a little harder to pick because I kind of got to lean in here, but we'll do our best. Look at those, probably from the other side will be better. Let me catch this side here. Kind of got to look on these because they're a little harder to find than a bush bean where you can just pick up the plant. These take a little longer to harvest, but they're a nice bean and worthwhile. So kind of got to look. You got to look high and low because they tend to hide on you. And you'll come across where you miss one, and it'll be really long the next time you're out. But that happens. Yeah, they're starting to produce nice right now. Some of these will be a little hard to reach at times, but you need to do the best you can. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just keep on picking here. As you can see, we got a fair amount. Let me come around this side and just grab off a few here. And I won't keep you through the whole picking, but I just wanted to show you, you get a lot of green beans from each set. So just thought we'd bring you around for another quick tour of the middle of November, and hopefully you'll continue to watch and support us. And we appreciate if you're new, you subscribe to our channel. But we'll see you later from Two Country Home.